Welcome all of you risk takers and truth seekers to the podcast Life the Battlefield. Today, we're going to talk about extremely dangerous and yet less sophisticated female spy. And she's starting her career in the First World War. Her name is Mata Hari. It's a Malay term for sun. Literally, eye of the day. For decades, one of the most mysterious figures of the 20th century, and a woman whose allure and the beauty no one could resist, has served as an inspiration to the writers and filmmakers around the globe. You know, like how many people say like, Hari Mata Hari, you heard that expression, and she was so seductive, but people didn't know much about her. Not many movies has been made about her as well, and at the end of the day, even she was serving the Germans, she was being shot, and she served many French generals and the English as well. But let's go, her tale starts here. Mata Hari was born in Netherlands on August 7, 1876. She was a well-known spy and a courtesan during World War I. She was the ex-wife of a Dutch colonel, began working for the German Secret Service in early 20th century while performing in Berlin. So, as you can see, this is the tragedy of becoming the spy. She was married to the Dutch colonel, but yet she was performing in Berlin and started working for Germans. So this is how usually the espionage starts working. That's how you're getting informants. She was not being trained spy. She's more informant for the German military machine in the First World War. But something was there what she liked it. Despite the fact that her intelligence activities were never fully explained, the French shot her in 1917 for espionage on the basis of an alleged confession. Well, let's go make this very simple. You don't just shot somebody because somebody allegedly confessed. No, you shot her because some generals obviously look at themselves over the table and told themselves, we were the one of those on a table getting massage from Mata Hari. So let's go better bury her. That's how things are done in reality. Now, so, since then, this exotic dancer, known for her voluptuous lifestyle, has served the inspiration for more than 250 novels, biographies, and movies. One of the most well-known performances is Greta Garbo in Mata Hari, from the shooting squad Eye of the Day. Check for that movie. She grew up in a prosperous family. Even as a young child, she stood out among her pallor and blonde peers because of her black hair. Tragically, her entire existence will be distinct from others. When she was only 16 years old, she was expelled from the teacher training program for having an affair with a married director. The Hague, which at the time was served as the capital of what is known now Dutch East Indies, became her new home. She discovered that Colonel Rudolf McLeod's request for women of pleasant looks, classified when she was 18 years old. So, today we have the Tinder, then was a classifieds, woman of pleasant look, and she was 18 years old. She was aware that this is how success is achieved. 6 days after their first meeting, they got engaged. Margaret was not particularly content with that relationship despite moving with him in Java and Sumatra, and they separated in 1902. Before, our friend suggested she try dancing in front of a group of, cultural seeking for novelty, she lived in Paris and worked as a circus equestrian and artist model. Another friend suggested the name Mata Hari, which is a Malay for Eye of the Day, rising sun or dawn. And indeed, a new day did begin for her. Mata Hari was instant sensation because of her darlingly sensual dancing, which involved taking off each of her veils one at a time until she was completely bare aside from jeweled headpiece and breastplate. Now, can you imagine this in 1900s? Yeah, that was not such a good time, but of course, people who visited such an establishment obviously were people with a lot of money and obviously didn't come to just talk about politics. In order to persuade audiences that they weren't paying to watch a strip show, but rather than educational glimpse of a religious ritual from the mysterious East, She insisted that she was performing authentic Javanese temple dancing. Interesting, huh? So she worked it out what many people do today, travel somewhere and they say like, oh, I saw this traditional dance or traditional praise or traditional food. And that's what she did. She said, I'm performing authentic Javanese temple dancing. And this taboo busting display wasn't already seductive enough on its own. She played the role of Mata Hari both on and off stage, which is significant. She told some journalists she was a daughter of an Indian temple dancer while telling others she was born to European parents in Java. Of course, her job made her to visit cities in those times like Berlin, Vienna, Monte Carlo, Milano, and was the Belle Epoque toast in Paris. In order to continue living the lifestyle she had grown accustomed to, she also had no trouble finding partners from high society. Therefore, when the war broke out, the German consul in Amsterdam offered her 20,000 francs to acquire French secrets. Can you imagine in those times, somebody comes to you and says, like, here you got 20,000 francs, I want you to steal the secrets. It doesn't work that way. That's in nutshell. After all, she spoke multiple languages, traveled all over Europe, and was close with numerous officers, politicians, aristocrats, and industrialists. Now, she's not discovered overnight. You must understand, obviously, some of the German officers or people who were there, they visited those places, and they knew it, that she is seducing, and obviously, she's a wet dream to many generals, French or British. And they pick her and choose her based on her performance. Strip show. Who could be better suited to hear what the great and the righteous had to say themselves when they are by themselves? Georges Ladox, the head of French counter-espionage bureau, asked Mata Hari to spy for France. Yeah, you see how the things works. And everybody saw her as somebody who's gonna utilize her body and gonna sleep with the other guys, the generals on all sides, to get the spies. However, Mata Hari, she agreed without disclosing that she has previously accepted offer to spy for the enemy. She was either incredibly intelligent or maybe incredibly stupid and naive. Mata Hari was taken into custody in February 1917 on the grounds that she might have been a double agent. Although the French government had very little evidence, someone had to be held accountable for the country's wartime casualties in order to maintain national morale. The focus of Mata Hari court martial court was less on her deeds and more on who she was as a person. Forget the facts that these characteristics made her a star during the armistice. They were enough to delegitimize her in debate. Mata Hari was portrayed for many years afterward as the ideal temptress. That she's a devil who proved with sexually assertive women should be reprimanded. Now, what I try to say, Hari Mata Hari, as everybody knows her, no Mata Hari, she was the woman, obviously, who was seducing the man to the, obviously, needless to say, strip, dance, whatever you want to call, striptease, basically. And men attended those places. Doesn't matter, French, German, British, and everybody saw her as a source of seducing other side. And she accepted. But she was more legit to work for Germans than anybody else. However, those who don't know, there were tremendous casualties in First World War. And enough said, those casualties actually caused a lot of hurdles on both sides, but mostly on the French side. And of course, they found a way how to blame her. 1917, she's been arrested and even didn't have enough evidence. She was being, shot. And her success in a world dominated by males has been resurrected by feminist critics who credited her with having the creativity and tenacity to force a new identity into existence. However, Even after 250 books and a century, we still don't completely comprehend all of her actions or her reasons for doing them. The blankets keep coming off, but the trickery goes on. And don't forget, nobody doesn't know what Mata Hari actually knew it. Mata Hari, she was a spy. She was a spy. She was an informant. She wasn't being trained in anything else except what she trained herself, and that is to seduce the man. Sexuality was always been the part of espionage methods and techniques. And Mata Hari, she used this very well, more for the Germans than anybody else. But in hindsight, we don't know what really she did in First World War, how much damage she caused for the French or for the Germans. But one thing is certain, she's been caught. And I believe, in all honesty, what I read in the books, I had access. The Germans actually betrayed her because she knew it quite a lot about some people in German establishment quite intimately. Thank you for watching Live the Battlefield with Mario. Feel free to subscribe, share, like, and comment in the comment section below. Let me know, what do you think, why Mata Hari was very successful, and what do you believe, why she's been shot with a minimum evidence and facts that she was spying for the Germans. Thank you.